Hi, and thanks for joining us here at Rose Quartz Mediumship podcast, where we love anything and everything healing and metaphysically based. I recently was with my son who was grieving, and the way that grief can go sometimes, he would come in and out of the grief as we moved through the day. And at night, he wanted me to come and lay in his bed with him because he was really sad. And so I laid next to him in his bed, and you know when you're crying and it comes from the deepest place inside of you, it's kind of a guttural cry. And that was what he was doing. And I let him do that for a period of time. I rubbed his back, and then I started trying to help him rationalize what he was processing, the loss that he was processing. And he was able to hear me, and he would be calm and quiet, and he would have conversation with me. And then he would go right back into wailing, absolutely just crying from the most guttural, deep place inside of him. And I recognized that that is what he needed to do. He needed to cry like that. He needed to express the emotion, the depth, the magnitude, the size of the feeling that he was feeling. And so I gently rested my hand on his back, and I laid next to him. And I would occasionally validate him when he would say something, but I wasn't trying to change it for him. I wasn't trying to help him rationalize it anymore. We'd already kind of been through that process. And I laid there with him and let him feel his feelings, because he was doing it. He was already capable of feeling all of those big feelings. And later that night, I was sitting and reflecting about the experience and recognizing that an older version of me would have continued to try to rationalize with him. I would have tried to fix it or make it better or help him see exactly what it was. And that would have been a kind of harmful thing for me to do, because I would have been sending the message to him to stop feeling his feelings. And the reality is that he was doing the most beautiful thing. He was feeling all of his feelings. There was no making this better. The loss was the loss, and it was a really big loss. And I didn't need or want to make that small for him, but I recognized that older versions of me wouldn't have been able to hold that depth of emotion and grief and sadness. And so older versions of me would have tried to continue to talk. And my talking would have been to soothe my own discomfort with the discomfort that he was in. And I felt really proud of myself, and I felt really proud of my child, who was capable of feeling these really big emotions. And I was capable of sitting next to him while he did it. And it really got me thinking about how frequently we try to fix, or we try to talk, or we try to do, or we try to essentially distract ourselves because we're uncomfortable with the depth of emotion that somebody else is sitting in. And it's one of the things that I think is really important when you're working with a practitioner, whether it's a healer, a therapist, an energy worker, a friend, a whoever, that you are identifying and picking somebody who can hold the depth and magnitude of the emotions that you're capable of feeling. So frequently we've been taught as children that really big emotions are not okay to be felt. And we cannot regulate an emotion that we refuse to feel. And so teaching people to not feel their feelings because the other people around them are uncomfortable with the depth and magnitude of the feelings that they're feeling is so harmful. And it is so healing and so beautiful when we allow ourselves and the people around us to have their emotions as big as they need to be without trying to change them or fix them or minimize them or make them different. Allowing ourselves to really feel all of the feelings that we have is such a beautiful process and such an important process. Because when we refuse to allow ourselves to feel something, or when we try to modify someone else's feelings, what we're really doing is creating energetic and emotional blocks that are going to be held in the mind, the body, the heart, and the spirit. And so I just wanted to throw this out here for anyone who has children or a partner or loved ones in their reality that they hold space for. And really, really ask yourself, when you are trying to fix something, when you are trying to talk it through, are you doing that to soothe your own discomfort with the emotion that they are in? And can you just relax? Can you just settle into the space that you're in and recognize that they are safe, that you are safe, and that these emotions are perfectly fine to be felt. In fact, they're meant to be felt. And you might see a real shift in the way that it feels to process emotions when you give yourself permission to feel them and recognize that it's not a problem. It's not bad. It's not harmful for you to feel your feelings as intensely and expansively as they want to be felt. We really, really appreciate and love having you here with us at Rose Quartz Mediumship podcast. And I hope you have a beautiful morning, day, evening, or night, wherever it is that this podcast is finding you.